Will a partnership forged in fire between Agent Alfred and the new young Batman be enough to overcome the threat of Black Mask and the party animals? Well, let's hop into the pages of Absolute Batman issue number 3 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up from the flashback at the end of the previous issue, Bruce was actually coaxed out of his house on one of the worst nights of his life thanks to his good friend Selina, who stole his science trophy. Hell, as we learn here, young Bruce was actually kind of afraid of heights, a far cry from the Caped Crusader he would one day be, and to think Selina, even before she became Catwoman, was already kinda one of Bruce's proto-teachers. But more on this later. From there we transition back on over to Batman and Agent Alfred in the modern day. They had taken the brand new Batmobile for a spin, following an ambush by both the police and the party animals from the end of the previous issue. Alfred, of course, had come to Batman to try and team up. You know, the whole enemy of my enemy is my friend's kind of thing, but Batman himself has to wonder why he should bother teaming up with Alfred. And it's during this crazy Fury Road-esque chase that Bruce really does end up putting poor Agent Al through his paces as he tries to survive an all-out party animal attack. Ultimately, Alfred does manage to give us some really good insight into his mission. How him and his bosses are after Roman Sionis, the head of a strange private military corporation greatly invested in regime change. Alfred thinks that Sionis has to be the mysterious Black Mask running the party animals, and that Batman might actually be the key to making that connection and taking him down once and for all. Again, you'll remember at the end of the previous issue, Black Mask had actually made Batman an offer. And Alfred thinks that if Bruce accepts this big cash payoff, it'll be a lot easier to trace the money back to its source and take down Sionis once and for all. Hell, Alfred even goes further to sweeten the deal, saying that his bosses will probably let Bruce keep the money. Imagine what he could do with Batman if he was rich. And that question of what Batman is truly worth, both literally and figuratively, kind of ends up being the backbone of this whole story. All of this ends up leading to one massive action-packed crescendo as to escape the cops and the party animals. Batman is forced to jump his big giant dump truck off the pier and into the water. Don't worry, Alfred got ejected before any of this happened, and also don't worry because the new Batmobile, on top of being huge, also works underwater because of course it would, why wouldn't it? So after that we get treated to another flashback between young Bruce and young Selina. It turns out that she didn't have nearly as good a home life as Bruce did. She's a foster kid who bounced around between numerous homes for lots of bad reasons. She was always more at home on the streets amongst all the strays because, well, she basically was one giant stray herself. Bruce even offers, hey, you know, you can come live with me and my mom, right? Only for her to turn him down. And hey, speaking of Bruce's friends from childhood, he once again checks on in with Eddie Nigma. We see he's hard at work on a brand new Silicon Valley project. He's building a robot because, again, of course he's building a robot. Actually, this reminds me very much of what Jim Carrey was doing in that movie. Eddie calls his robot Al after Alan Turing, the Library of Alexandria, you know, a play on AI, but he thinks that that name won't stick. Maybe he should call him the Riddle Man, perhaps. Say what you want about the robot, though it works. It manages to crack the code on the party animal's mask and discover how exactly it works. Apparently, this thing does a great job blocking a person's identity from all the major 3-letter law enforcement groups. It also pays out in crypto every time one of the party animals commits an act of senseless violence, with more money attributed to greater acts of crime up to including murder. Keep all this in mind because it will actually be important later. It's after that Bruce ends up placing a call to Harvey at the mayor's office, who put his job on the line to try and look into the mysterious Arc M. Turns out the money behind Arc M is traced back to a group that makes private prisons. But not just any private prisons, the black site prisons, where anything and everything is legal. These prisons have already made massive fortunes for people in China, Russia, and even Santa Prisca, and now it all starts to make sense. Roman Sionis is using the party animals to sow as much chaos and destruction as he can in Gotham City before eventually using Mayor Hill, and even the newly bought Commissioner Harvey Bullock, to allow him and his private army to arm the police and fix the problem that he himself created, in doing so allowing him to clean up twice. In fact, we get to see Black Mask make this business pitch to Commissioner Bullock while practicing almost naked MMA against, get this, Bibbo Bobowski. Yeah, from Superman. I was shocked too. Turns out Roman Sionis is a lot more than just another pretty face. Well, a non-face. He can actually handle himself in a fight, which again is one of those little factors that I'm sure is going to end up being very important down the line. Now, back in the flashback story, we see that Selina had gotten Bruce to follow her out of the house so that she could take him to the movie theater so that they could watch the original black and white Zorro. At first, it seems like the two are all alone, but eventually all of Bruce's other friends end up surprising him too. This was all part of a much bigger plan to try and get him out of his depressive funk. And honestly, not only is it incredibly sweet, but I also love how they recontextualize Batman's connection to the Zorro movie. Normally, his parents died leaving that movie and it was always a sore spot for him. Here, it's actually a symbol of healing and friendship and support. Who knows, maybe absolute Bruce Wayne won't swear off movies for the rest of his life in this world. And hey, speaking of Bruce's family life, and we certainly were, after pounding the pavement all night, Bruce returns home for some early morning soup wherein he sees his mother leaving for the day. It seems that Martha Wayne is ready to put up or shut up. We saw her defend Mayor Gordon in the previous issue, and now she's actually stepping up to try and become his brand new deputy mayor. Bruce is understandably kind of terrified, as the party animals have already tried to kill Gordon once and he doesn't want to lose his mother. But at the same time, he really has no choice but to respect her love for her city and how she's willing to put everything on the line to try and make Gotham better, really no different than what he's doing. It's after that things end up moving very quickly. Hamilton Hill gets on TV and announces his major endorsement from Harvey Bullock and the police. He vows to clean up the city in a way that Gordon never could, and even talks about postponing the lighting ceremony to honor the victims of those who lost their lives in the zoo shooting. Oh man, I can only imagine that this is them building up what the bat signal is going to be in the absolute universe, and honestly, I'm all ready for it. The city is a massive pressure cooker now set to blow, and Batman is at a major moral crossroad in his life right now. What will he do? Will he take Black Mask's bribe of $200 million when all it means is sitting back and doing nothing, or will he be forced to act? Well, I guess we'll have to check back on in with the next issue to find out for certain. And so that was Absolute Batman issue number 3, everybody, and once again, I think Scott Snyder and the whole team on this book continue to move from strength to strength. I absolutely love the idea of a class-conscious Batman, wherein money and what Batman is worth is actually a major focus of this first arc. It's true that if Bruce just sits by, keeps his mouth shut, and takes the money, he could end up making Batman something bigger and more technologically advanced like the Batman from the main universe is, but in doing so, he would end up selling his soul. All the stuff with Batman's friends, too, continue to be probably my favorite thing about this new series. One, the idea that Bruce just has friends and contemporaries his own age is just really damn cool and compelling. But to have them be his villains from the other Earth who haven't exactly broken bad yet and maybe won't, or at least not in the way we come to expect, is a genius narrative hook that I think is going to keep me on the line for a long time to come. Overall, I would give this one another very positive 9 out of 10. In fact, this might be the strongest issue of the series yet, if you can believe it. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.